Welcome, everybody, to Weeknights, a weekly report of some of the bigger nerdy things that have happened that you might have missed over the past week-ish. If you enjoy this little tidbit of information, then please check out some of our full-length podcasts called Nights at the Nerd Table. Weeknights is a weekly outlet of Nights at the Nerd Table, and that's a show where me and some other of my hosts reminisce and chat about some of our favorite nerdy things, as well as present maybe our takes on some current nerdy things we just recorded last night. If you are a Patreon subscriber, that's right, we are on Patreon. You can listen to the pod audio already up on that page, along with some other exclusive Patreon content. But if not, you're going to have to wait till Monday till the full episode drops wherever you can listen to podcasts or watch on YouTube if you're a watcher kind of person. So please, if you like the content, give us a follow anywhere you can find us, including but not limited to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and last but not least, Patreon. And if you haven't heard yet, for the months of January and February, we're forwarding all the earnings we get from a little nerd group called the Gamer Chapel, an after-school program located out in the boonies of West Michigan, Northern Michigan, but nevertheless a group who could use a few extra D&D supplies and supplies for their D&D games to make them fun and exciting. We know what it feels like to be included at the table, so please we want to do our part, and you can help us make sure others feel that way too. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the news. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is out in theaters now. So, if you are a Marvel fan, this is supposed to be a really good one. The film features Kang the Conqueror as a villain, which was potentially alluded to, or in the past. There's also supposed to be several Easter eggs in this film, a lot of takes. So if you're on TikTok, maybe stay off TikTok, because that's where the spoilers are. That's where all the spoilers are on TikTok. So that movie is live. Maybe a fun thing for you to do. Check out this weekend. For Magic fans, MTG spoilers. I know we just released a new set a week ago, which means it's maybe 2 weeks ago, which means it's time to spoil the next set. Maybe they need to chill on how many sets they bring out a year, but that's not for me to decide. However, Commander Master spoilers have begun to drop, including 4 Commander pre-con decks. Now, we don't know the commanders of them, but we do know the titles of the decks, and I think a lot of people are going to get excited for that. Here are the titles: Planeswalker Party, Sliver Swarm, Enduring Enchantments, and Eldrazi Unbound. Absolutely looks like going to be very fun pre-cons. Maybe right out of the box, going to be a lot of threats to present. And 2 reprints that, there's a couple reprints, but 2 notable ones that we know are getting reprint are the Jeweled Lotus and the Dragon. It's been a while since the Dragon got a reprint, and in Commander Masters, seems only fitting. You can check out all the product guide, what everything is going to look like, from booster boxes to sets to collector sets and all of that as well. So lots of spoilers already out. Google Turn 3 Vampire Dinosaur, and you'll get a fun combo coming to you in several formats because of that card coming out. MTG probably. Anyway, mark your calendars for Pokemon trainers. Mark your calendars for February 27th. Pokemon Presents, which will be a show for Pokemon Go news, is going to be set to be released that day. It kicks off on their official YouTube channel at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, again, February 27th. So probably some announcements, probably some more fun things to learn about if you're a Pokemon Go fan. I've been plugging along. I'm not like the world's greatest Pokemon trainer, but people are always asking me, hey, you still play Pokemon Go? And I'm like, do you just stop taking care of your dogs? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I stop taking care of my Pokemon? Why would it's not something you just quit. Okay, so yes, I still play Pokemon Go, and I hope you do too. And if you do, there will be some announcements waiting for you on that day. Speaking of Nintendo, they locked in a 10-year agreement with Microsoft and Microsoft/Xbox to bring games like Call of Duty to Nintendo devices same day as Xbox. So if you weren't aware, around early January 2022, they announced they were taking over Activision and Xbox was grabbing that up, including a lot of exclusive contract titles that came with that. But they've been trying to let everyone know, hey, we want to play with everyone. We want to play nice with other consoles. We want everyone to play a lot of video games. So they worked out this deal with Nintendo, which seems to be signed in for about 10 years. They will be getting Call of Duty and other Xbox titles as well, allowed to play on Nintendo devices. I believe the last Nintendo device to host a Call of Duty game was the Wii, which, like, in theory would have made a lot of sense because you actually hold the gun, but I don't know how well it actually translated. Anyway, that's the news. Last piece of news, which is always a little bit of bummer, always a little bit of bad news out there. So if you haven't heard, there's a little bit of a controversy going on with Wormwood Gaming right now. It seems as there are some things that have come out and come to light with some former employees about some sexual assault allegations aimed at people who worked there, but more importantly, perhaps this was maybe looked over or thought it wasn't a big deal back in 2020, maybe swept under the rug a little bit, and a lot of these allegations are getting really nasty. Twitter, of course, is not a great place for legitimate discourse. However, that is where a lot of this has been released and gone down and covered, and Wormwood has tweeted a couple of things. Number one, you can go to their Twitter and see their official statement, which details their account and recording of the account of what happened. There's also a page 2 or an amendment to their first tweet of the PDF file that makes an amendment saying, actually, it turns out the CEO did know about this original incident and forgot about it, or, yeah, kind of seems sketchy. They also released a video in where it's not my job to decide how accurate the video is or isn't, and maybe this is just news, so it's not my job to give a take on it. However, I will say this, the video is very odd and it's very weird, and it's not like a public release statement. It's almost shot like an episode of The Office, and they're talking about how they're going to respond, how they responded. It's just really weird. It's a lot of hard cuts and weird, like, behind the scenes style camera angles, and it's just very odd to me. I'm not saying it's real, I'm not saying it's fake, I'm just saying if you watch it, it just feels very, very weird. So they're currently sorting through and navigating through that. They have not tweeted anything out since that statement as of right now, this very second. However, I'm sure more news will be coming out of this in the future. If you don't know who they are and what they do, they build a lot of high quality tabletop games and tabletop game accessories, including they built the table for Critical Role, and they've given and built a lot of accessories and partnered with Critical Role on several things. I'll also Dimension 20, and honestly, their craftsmanship is really hard to compete with for anyone else in the market, and it's absolutely immaculate. However, these things seem to have happened before they really took off and blew up. They think somewhere in there's a comment about this all took place when they really didn't even have an HR department. It's just a boss kind of getting information and firing people based on it. So that's just kind of the news. I'm not saying everything about that company is amazing. I'm not saying we should burn them to the ground. I'm just telling you what you can find out for yourself on Twitter if you go following the right pages. So that's the 5 major things that you might want to know about. I'm Nate. This has been an episode of Weeknights. Again, if you want some more content, check us out on Monday. You can listen to the new podcast, watch the video, or if you are a Patreon subscriber, you can get early access to the audio of that. So until we see you at the table next time, good night, nerds.